Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Let's start with a story about an online bathroom retailer where a customer demanded an immediate solution to a mistake he made with his order, leading to an unforgettable lesson in patience and politeness. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with a turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Need an answer now? Okay. I work as a supervisor for a small family-run online designer bathroom retailer. Want more choice than the big box stores? You come to a company like us. We're also much cheaper than buying directly from a brand. Any return that's outside the standard 30 days would be at the discretion of the manufacturer/brand. That doesn't mean no, but we need to check with the brand that a customer purchased and see if they would still accept it back, and if so, would there be a restocking charge? I've had similar conversations like this many times over the years, but the one that sticks to mind is the others I try to be more helpful. A customer purchased a Stone Effect shower tray from us. The size he ordered would have weighed about 50 kilograms and had to be sent with a fragile goods courier. About 2 months later, he called and advised my colleague that he had measured wrong and needed a different size. Annoying, but if you're reordering from the same brand, then it'll likely just be the cost of carriage for delivery, and collection and restocking is waived even though it's outside of 30 days. However, we need to check with the brand to confirm this, as it's not always the case. This is where the problem for him started. His plumbers are on site and he needs an answer now. My colleague explained that it would only take an hour or two to get written confirmation from them, and that it would be 2 to 3 days delivery of the size he did need regardless. This was apparently not acceptable, and he got shouty and sweary and therefore ended up being transferred to me. Shouting at our staff because of a problem entirely of your own creating will make me immediately not want to go out of my way to help more than I have to. I explained to the customer the same thing as my colleague, and that because this is outside of the returns period, the discretion is with the brand. But providing they order an alternate size and that the one he has is in the original packaging and condition, that it should just be cost of carriage. That's when he reveals that his plumber actually threw away all the packaging for tray and that it was a ridiculous policy, the whole time still being very shouty and sweary. I explained that I can speak to the brand to see if they're able to repackage it, but that I know if they're able to do this, that they would impose a 25% restocking fee on top of the carriage charges. This was not acceptable. He needs a definite answer now. Enter malicious compliance. Okay, no. He was far too rude to continue any further, so he's getting the answer now. And that answer is no. Needless to say, he was not happy with no and then tried to make me check with them like I previously said I would, but I stuck to it and advised him that a return or exchange would not be accepted as it was outside of time, and he hung up out of anger. Never did hear from him again, not even an angry review. I assume he paid to have a builder extend his walls to make the tray size work, as how specific of a tray he ordered would not have sold easily secondhand either. Moral of the story is to be nice to people, or at the very least, don't be rude, and don't ask for an immediate answer if you're not happy with all the possible answers. So weird. You have a policy, they want to change, you try to accommodate that change and need some extra time, they demand an answer now. Shrug and point at the aforementioned policy. LOL at them for trying to pressure you into free stuff. And our second story. I sold the ring he wanted, but he told me to. I used to work in a pawn shop as both a sales associate and a pawnbroker. I have many stories, but this one always makes me smile because of how smug the man was. When I was a sales associate, I sold a lot of jewelry. I often had to tell people that we couldn't hold items because A, someone might come in and want it and have the money right there, and B, we had a layaway program, so unless you put some money down, 20% holding it wasn't an option. So one day this man comes in and is looking for a very specific type of ring. Diamond channel set anniversary ring set in white gold size 5. The pawn shop I worked at had a vast collection of these types of things in many sizes and with many different carat weights. He needed a specific size and a specific carat weight, and he was very much in luck because we happened to have it. Most pawn shops are you get what you see and you can see what you get. Basically, we don't have inventory or stock of any specific item, and our jewelers are for sizing and dipping purposes only. So I show him my ring that I have in the case. Me, here you go, exactly the size you need and just over the carat weight. Man pulls out a loop, looks at diamonds. Okay, they're not as clear as I normally like them. Me, yeah, I understand, but the price is only $350, and at a regular jewelry store, it would easily run around $1,500. So while the clarity isn't as nice, it's still a really good deal. And I don't know if you'll find another this size with the same carat weight. Man, sighing, okay. Well, I know your sister store also has some rings, right? Do you think they might have a better one with better quality? At this time, there's a woman looking at rings and clearly listening to our conversation, but I'm positive he hasn't noticed her. She sees the ring in my hand, and I see her eyebrow go up. Me, I'm not sure, but they are a smaller store, so their inventory's smaller. If they do have one, there isn't a guarantee the ring will be the correct size or the same carat weight. Man, Okay, well, can you hold the ring for me? I want to go see their inventory. Me, I'm sorry, we can't. Company policy is that all items held must be put on layaway for holding. If someone wants to buy an item and it isn't in layaway, we don't want to stop them. Man, Well, I'm going to hold off and go check that store. If someone comes in and sees this specific ring, yeah, go ahead and sell it. But I doubt that's going to happen. He walked away with a kind of smug look on his face. Just as he left, the woman who was listening to our conversation walks up. Woman, can I see that ring he didn't want? I hand it over to her. She slips it on her finger and smiles. Woman, I'll take it. She didn't even hesitate. She straight up bought this ring after wearing it for 5 seconds. During ring out, I asked her why, and she said she'd been searching for a channel set ring for a few years at the pawn shops, but none had caught her eye like that one, and it was her size, which can be hard to find. I told her to have a nice day and cleaned it before she left. 45 minutes later, the man walked back in. Man, okay, they didn't have anything, so I guess I'll take that one I was looking at. Me, I'm sorry, sir, but just after you left, a woman came up, tried on the ring, and bought it. I don't have any more in the carat weight you're looking for. I have some in the next higher carat weights if you're interested. Man, are you effing serious? You knew I'd probably be back. Why'd you sell it? Me, well, you did say I should if someone came in and saw it. Just because you doubt something's going to happen doesn't mean it can't. Edit. Some of y'all are saying I didn't say the last line. Let me make something clear. The pawn industry is incredibly different than normal retail stores. I've actually told customers to straight up get the F out of my store and had 0 consequences. I promise I said this line. If you're wondering what happened after, he demanded to speak to my manager, who shouted through the window, "We don't hold crap for a-holes unless you put it in layaway. Don't assume crap here, buddy." The manager also looked exactly like the BTK serial killer, so kudos to that woman. I hope she's happy and wearing that ring sparkling in the sunlight and smiling to herself. And our next story. Shortcut? No more shortcut. We have a large easement next to our house. It's actually a lovely spot with a view over a creek and up a small valley to wooded hills, heaps of birds and wildlife. No sea of housing like behind us. It also leads to the cul-de-sac of a dead-end road, which was fenced off until someone decided one afternoon to barrel their 4x4 right through it. Even before this, in-car or phone navigation has taken people up the dead-end street and tried to send them over the non-existent road between us and the cul-de-sac, as it's significantly shorter than the normal way round. Since the fence has been rammed down, people have been using it as a shortcut, and probably because GPS tells them to go that way, the more they go that way, the more GPS picks up on the route. People were dropping off or mounting the gutter to get on and off the grass to the road, which is okay. There was such a variety of vehicles, from pizza delivery to large trucks, tradesmen, and lost visitors, that we couldn't just say, "Hey, please don't, it's not a road." It had gotten to the point that there was a dusty track. Then they started cutting across our front lawn to use our personal driveway, and we had enough. So we called council, by chance getting a hold of someone we know, and 3 days later there were 2 giant rocks blocking the way, still allowing the walkers, kids, and bike riders passage, but no more cars and trucks. Nicely done. Not only did you stop them, you got someone else to do the actual work, and legally too. As a bonus, if some maroon manages to move one of the rocks, the municipality will put it back as it's their rocks. And our last story. HOA Mafia demands money. So back a decade or so, it's my first year in a small-town American suburbia. I'd immigrated about a year or two before from a rougher corner of a far larger city. This was like a whole other world. Equal parts cool and baffling, with really great neighbors who had odd customs. It was a good life. Anyhow, a few months after we moved into our first real suburban home, this total stranger comes knocking on the door to talk with me about our HOA responsibilities. Seemed weird to me. I've rented apartments my whole life long. All I know about HOAs is they probably fine you if you don't paint your fence. To the best of my knowledge, our street had no HOA. Also, our house had no fence. Anyway, this guy wanted us to pay our back dues, and of course I tell him that we don't appear to be members. Does he want to send us some literature? This works on Jehovah's sometimes. Maybe you'll get rid of him too. No, he doesn't want to. He'd like the dues, please. Are we aware of our legal obligations? It'd be best to just settle this all up front. This is the point at which I send my young child well back into the house and reach for a phone, because it sounds like a shakedown, you know? But it sounds like a shakedown from a movie script, the kind of thing people think other people say. And then comes the best part. I'm from Chicago, he tells me. This is small-town tourist Arkansas. Okay, but I'm from Chicago, he says. You know how we do things, right? We get stuff done. So you understand that at this point, I'm trying not to openly laugh? Yeah, he's pretending to be a effing Chicago mobster. Like something out of the Untouchables. Was that Chicago? I get my mob stuff mixed up. I can hardly believe he's real. Anyways, I tell him that this isn't even our house. Corporate owned, see? I tell him that I understand he wants dues and whatnot, but I'm honestly not certain that corporate has signed on for this, and really, would he like to send some literature? Perhaps he'd like his lawyer to speak with corporate, so that everyone's clear on what's happening here. I could make a phone call if he'd like to speak with someone himself. Right now, yeah. Phone in my hand, mate. Coming to my house in this small nothing town pretending to be something scary? Effing try me. Anyways, had a good laugh with the boss about it later, and again, when some literature actually showed up, hand-typed, full of spelling mistakes, standard look-at-me bullcrap. We never joined an HOA. Our home's contract actually included language prohibiting us from joining an HOA, and the sorry little crapstick never did come back again looking for money. Wow, what a bizarre and somewhat comical encounter with a would-be HOA enforcer. Your handling of the situation with humor and skepticism was perfect, especially given the absurdity of the claims being made. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.